Because for the past few weeks, Enimwa Enimado has been driving around Accra finding piles of rubbish, mountain higher than she is, higher than she stands. I mean, all right, Enima will give us an update on all the places that she's been, and then we'll go on the phone lines and speak with Mohammed J. Soa, who is the mayor of Accra. Before she comes through, though, the brand new Ebo White play I Want Your Wife shows at the National Theatre on 6th, 7th, 13th, and 14th of July at 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. daily. And from now to the 16th of June 2019, the early bird tickets are selling for 60 Ghana cedis only, saving you a whopping 20 cedis for ice cream. Tickets are available at Joy FM, Bachelor and Hacho Total, Motorway Supermarket, Shell Shops at Airports, Dansoman, Sakaman, East Legon, Achimota and Tema Community 11, Frankie's, Sakaman, Goyle, Mile 7, Goyle and Quick and Fine Supermarkets, opposite UPSA. Or WhatsApp 050-554-6030 for details, inquiries and deliveries. Sponsors are Bond Savings and Loans, Kush Fruit Juice, Old Mutual Life Assurance Company Limited, and Max Smart Funhouse. Terms and conditions apply. Now, ABSA is proud and ready to build upon the incredible 102-year heritage Barclays has built in Ghana. ABSA will continue to provide innovative products and services. Our team will do whatever it takes to assist you on your way to the top. Welcome to ABSA Group Limited. ABSA, proudly serving you in Ghana as Barclays. Good morning, Enimwa.
Hi, good morning, Danny.
Okay, before we hear from Enimwa specifically, and what did you call me? Anyway,
I call you Danny.
Okay. We would first of all hear a wrap of where she's been so far.
Now, our worry or our concern is usually when the rubbish is collected, it's left at the side of the road, and that is the case this morning. But he says that they're going to clear all of it and take it to the mortuary road in Kolebu, where it will be left to dry out. Apparently, when it dries out, it returns to its natural state, which is sand, and then will be disposed of properly. He also said that the plastic and the other non-biodegradable waste would be separated and disposed of as well. So work is ongoing, both sides of the road, and it's looking good. The smells here are very nauseating. It's really horrible.
So that was Enimwa's very first underground report. Enimwa, you were reporting then from the Obechi Bilamte.
Yes, I was, which was about 3 weeks ago. I think it was the 15th of is it 15th of May?
Yes.
Yes. So yeah, I was reporting from there. I also went there yesterday, and it's funny because between the first time I did it and the second time that I did it, the circumstances are the same, or the situation is the same, even though so much has been done in between. And so we know that the AMA did dissolve the gutters, they did get rid of the plastic waste, they did collect, they did clear, and in 2 weeks is right back where we started from. So yesterday was a mixed emotions kind of day, because there are times when you're so frustrated because authorities and governments are not doing what they're supposed to do. And then there are times when they have done what they're supposed to do, but the citizens, we just let ourselves down so much, because in 2 weeks we've managed to fill up these gutters with plastic waste and with so much rubbish. So Daniel, it's kind of difficult. It's easy sometimes to blame the government and say that this is what they're not doing, but then sometimes we have to look inward and accept that we're actually failing ourselves on some level.
Of course, and like I said yesterday after your report, we have conspired, the citizenry and the leadership, to create the situation at Obechi Bilamte Circle. And
yes,
we must really look ourselves in the mirror when we are asking these questions. But Mohammed J. Soa has joined us on the line. He's the mayor of Accra. Good morning, Mr. Soa. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning. How are you?
I am blessed. How are you?
I'm doing great. Pleasure having me.
All right. So I guess I say pleasure being here. I just saw a press release Monday, 27th of May. Before we go into the issue of sanitation, Mayor Soa joins Global Covenant of Mayors for Climate Energy. Now, you are being selected as a board member for the Global Covenant. Congratulations are in order.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Can you shed some more light on the work that you'll be doing with the Global Covenant of Mayors for Climate Energy?
Well, thank you very much for having me. The Global Covenant of Mayors, it's a global work arrangement of mayors around the globe, and the activities focuses more on energy and climate change. And you have Michael Bloomberg and commissioners all on the board and supporting actively on issues about climate change. And you know that the Paris Agreement allows all national government to set targets for to work on climate change. So in Ghana, for instance, we have what we call nationally determined contributions. But what we are looking at is that the actions that are taken locally is what culminates into the national contributions. So what are the city mayors around the globe also doing to address the issues of climate change? So for us in Accra, if you could permit me to speak a little bit about Accra.
Go ahead.
We have identified 4 key areas that causes a lot of emissions. One is waste, that's the burning of waste. The second one is about the type of transportation that we also have that also emits a lot of fumes as well in Accra. And the third one is about the household energy. The type of buildings that are coming up in Accra are not energy efficient compliant. For the past 15, 20 years, you could see that the skyline of Accra has changed, and it puts a lot of pressure on our energy situation. And the fourth one is about the thermal plants that we had. And we did an extensive study from 2016-2017. And you know that in 2016 we had experienced a lot of, doom source. So these were the 4 key areas of emissions that we have in Accra. It could be different elsewhere because nationally in Ghana, for instance, what causes a lot of emission is in the agric sector. But agric is not in Accra. Meanwhile, a lot of people are trooping into the city center. Urbanization is real. 50% of the global population will be living in urban centers by 2030, and by 2050 it may increase it to 65%. So city managers are becoming very important in managing their space and what are the contributions to emissions globally. So for us, Global Covenant of Mayors is to guide all cities to identify what causes those emissions and work on it so that will also be contributing to the positively to the climate change issues.
Now, your first thing that you mentioned was on waste management, and I'm sure you're well aware of the many publications about Agbogloshi. It has been described as the most polluted place in the world. And at the moment, I know that the lead levels in the soil are as high as 18,125 ppm. The USA EPA standard for lead in soil is 400 ppm. The pollution there is terrible. What's the plan?
So let's put the issues in context when you talk about Agbogloshi, because there are different segments of activities within the Agbogloshi. We have the food market, we have the scrap market, we have the settlement also there, which is the old Fadaman and other satellite activities there. Specifically, what you are talking about is the scrap activities, in the scrap area. I think that you need to appreciate the intervention that has also been done in Agbogloshi within the past 6 months. The Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation, Environment, working with the GIZ and then Assembly, currently have built a training center at Agbogloshi. We have also built a place where they receive the scraps. So the scraps, because we intend to stop burning the scraps, so it has reduced. I don't know when you are quoting the statistics. I don't know when the data was collected, but I'm talking about what has happened over the past 6 months, over there. And then there's even a fund which is available to which is the second phase of the project, to construct a mega processing plant over there so that all the metal waste that are collected comes to there and they are processed. So that is the second phase. But already the first phase has a facility that receives the metal waste. I must admit that not all the waste collected sends their metal waste to that facility, but that is also reducing it. The plan is to make sure that the scrap metal waste enclave, which is there, the activities are modernized, because we must also be fair that the metal that finds itself in our waste stream are no more, because people have found value for the metal and it must be handled with that care.
You said, sir, that the intention is to stop burning. By when is the burning going to stop?
Well, that's what I'm saying, is that currently the burning has reduced drastically. If you go to Agbogbloshie, I must say that I can't say for sure that it has stopped entirely.
It hasn't.
Because we are, of course, I live in Accra, so I'm telling you that it has not stopped entirely. But we are talking about numbers, because you started by quoting numbers of 18,000, blah, blah. You know, it has, and I don't know when the data was collected.
Last year.
Telling you, of course, but I'm telling you what has happened within the last 6 months. And your media guys were also there. They covered the event. Kudos to the GIZ team that will continue to do some of these things. So by the time we finish with the second phase, which is going to be the construction of the receiving plant, then all the metal waste that is collected could be sent to one location for processing.
Well, okay. Away from the e-waste specifically, we still have the issue, and like you said, it's about disposal of waste generally that leads to emissions, and we still have the issue of waste disposal. Even in the Agbogbloshie area, there's a rubbish dump that has developed just around the Sekins area. When Inima visited there, we found that this started just 3 years ago, and it's become this, excuse my language, this ecosystem of lagoons within the waste and what have you. What are we doing to address that?
Well, I am not too sure of the specific location that you are talking about. But let me proceed by saying that, yet there's another heap of waste which is behind the Onio market. In fact, it's close to the ICGC. That waste has been there for over 15 years. And as part of our Garrett project, is going to be evacuated, because we've even tested it, the amount of methane in it, because there was an idea as to how we can even mine the gas. The amount of methane in it has evaporated. So it is not last year or 2 years or 3 years ago which that has been there. And let me also add that on the other side of the road, which is the Moshi Road, where the waste recycling and compost plant has been constructed to process over 400 tons of waste daily. Currently is operating at half capacity, because it's a new machine, and the amount of waste that is received over a period of time will be increasing. But that is also a major solution to a lot of the informal pickers that we have in town, or the informal collectors that uses the Aboboya, because either they have to travel to either Pone or in Sumia to go and dump and come. If they are unable to go there, they create their own dump sites within the city center. So more of such facilities in town would also resolve that problem that we have. Some of the problems that comes, and let me share this with you, any time within the period of May, June, July, which is the rainy season, the problem is at the landfill site. When your trucks go to the landfill site and they are unable to dump because the landfill is either full and the road is not accessible, there could be possibly a backlog of waste in town, and not your inability also to collect the waste. As I speak to you now, the priority of the Ministry of Sanitation is to get an engineered landfill site. And we need to do that within our period, else we'll continue to have a challenge.
But Mr. Soa, whenever rubbish is cleared from our homes at the moment, we know that the landfill site is full effectively, but we still move rubbish there. So are we saying that because the landfill sites are full, we cannot move rubbish from these areas in Agbogbloshie?
I haven't said so. I'm saying that, look, in Accra, we generate over 3,000 tons of waste daily. If waste is not collected in Accra for 2 days, by the third day, 9,000 tons of waste, the whole city will be engulfed with filth and you will not be able to move about. All what I'm saying is that there could be some problems, and there are problems at the landfill site, especially around this time, because the landfills are technically full, and we struggle to go and dump. The Ministry of Sanitation have prioritized it and to make sure that they they get another engineered landfill site.
Great.
That could permanently resolve the problem that we have.
Great. So with the Agbogbloshie situation, when exactly are we moving into the rubbish dump at Seconds to begin clearing?
Seconds.
Yes, at Seconds.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
It's not the one behind the Onion Market. No,
oh, okay.
It's not the 15-year-old one that we are speaking of different ones. It's
okay.
right by the road. Okay, so
yes. So let me respond to that. That's why I'm saying that once we have problem at the landfill site, then it creates the backlog of waste that we have. As I speak to you now, by close of today, certainly the waste will be collected. Because when you collect it, the amount of fleet of vehicles or trucks that we have, you collect the waste, you have to go and dump it either at Insumia or Boom. Yesterday at Insumia, they couldn't work over there, and then Boom also has problems. And once there was a little bit of rain, it is not only the city center that, we experience some problems, but the major problem is at the landfill site. And I'm sharing information with you that the problem is at the end, and that's what we see is impact from the beginning. But
right.
It is not because the city managers do not want to or do not intend to collect the waste.
So you mentioned, just for the sake of emphasis, that you are moving into the Seconds area by close of day today.
Of course, yes.
Okay.
And I really appreciate the spot checks that your media house is doing. But it is important we have a discussion within the larger context, because the knee-jerk approach is not a way out. And that's why I tried to broaden the discussion for you to appreciate the issues very well.
Of course. And we appreciate it totally. We understand that the bigger sanitation issues are a bit more nuanced than just a simple clearing of rubbish at a specific place. But then again, we were contacted by our listeners, and we have to serve them. If you can appreciate that. There's also the issue
I really appreciate that.
Great.
That's why I even thank you for the spot checks that you are doing.
Great.
Because I've monitored a couple of times, and I really appreciate it.
Great. Can we move then to the Obechebilamte Circle area? We acknowledge that some work was done by the AMA there earlier. It looks like the greater issue there would have to be enforcement, ensuring that rubbish does not get there, and that the rubbish that has gathered there is cleared. So what's the steps that we are taking in that area?
I am, to the best of my knowledge, I'm not aware of anything at the Obechebilamte, because if today, this morning, then I don't know. But I even passed there last night. I went to an event at Promasido. I went round, and usually in the evenings I went round. Let me say that the main storm drains around those areas has been desilted just within this week, and it continues to be done over a period of time. The permanent solution to the problems around Obechebi Lamte Circle, which receives water and sometimes accompanied with plastics from upstream, is the fact that the Garage project, that's the Greater Accra Resilience and Integrated Project, when it commences somewhere in September, that will give a permanent solution to the problem. Indeed, the Ministry of Works and Housing has awarded contract for the reconstruction a lot of drains within Accra. But the Obechebi Lamte Circle drains had been taken out from the list because there's another funding arrangement from the World Bank to permanently deal with the issues around Obechebi Lamte Circle straight into the Odo.
Okay, and by that permanent solution, you're referring to the Garrick project?
Yes.
Okay. We acknowledge that work has been done, and if you have monitored, we did do a report from Obechebi Lamte Circle area when work was being done. But I have a picture with me, and we have forwarded it to your phone right now. If you can just indulge us and take a look at it.
No problem.
Yes, Enimwa is standing by this drain, which is choked with plastic waste, and this was yesterday.
Okay.
You've seen it, Mr. Soa?
Not yet. I haven't received anything.
Okay, you can. I mean, in the next few seconds or so, sometimes the network, misbehaves. But what we are saying is that anyone is standing by a pile of rubbish inside this drain. This one, we acknowledge that work has been done in the past, but this was yesterday. So, are we going back there?
Well, I'm saying that the work is continuing. If you looked at the work which was done, we did it with machines, but from the road in between Audome, and as you want to initiate onto the ring road, the machine is unable to work there. So if that is the only location you are talking about, that one requires, manual work to be done, which is being done. But there's a contractor that has been, and I can give you a list of areas that we are working in Accra at the moment. Just give me a second myself. A list of areas that we are working within Accra so that you also monitor the entire stretch of areas that is being done.
So Mr. Soa, I understand that.
Can I also give you the list?
Yeah, I would wish that you would send us that list. I mean, we'll be working with you in the monitoring.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Okay. But when you say work is continuing on the Obechebi Lamte Circle, does that mean that workers are going back today or tomorrow?
Yes, it's been given on a contract, so the contractor is supposed to finish the work. This is
today.
not.
So they are going back today.
Of course, the contractor is supposed. This is not like AMA staff working, but it's given out on contract. That's the whole list of areas that have been given out, and the contractors are being paid for the work that is being done.
And we will pick the list from you, Mr. Soa, and get there and speak further about this. Thank you very much. We are expecting that we would have you in studio. We are hoping that we'll have you in studio.
I'm always available.
Okay. So next week,
I'm available.
Okay, so next week, Mohammed J. Soa will join us in studio. He's assured us on air. He's the mayor of Accra, and we just had a rousing conversation about the various areas in the city which need to be cleaned up. This is where we wrap up today's Super Morning Show. We wrapped up with our mayor talking about how clean our city should be and the work that is being done in that direction. My name is Daniel Daze. I've been here with Papaya Wasari lead producer, Malik, Raymond, Enimwa, DJ Obeti, Dennis. We are all here. Have a super day. We'll be back tomorrow.
I am Dr. Keisha. Acacia gives you work